So as of now, all we actually know is that their new game will be called EA Sports FC, and that is literally it. They've released nothing else apart from a really limited graphic, just going through, it's FC in different fonts with different teams that are licensed from the Premier League, La Liga, etc. So there's no number in the title, which is very different to what you had in the past. Obviously, FIFA's always had the year follow in the title. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. In my opinion, that sort of hints towards that they could go down the live service route where they'll release like a yearly update, which will bring in new player ratings in Ultimate Team, the kits and all that, because a lot of games are going down that route now. And with the fact that, it is just called EA Sports FC, adding a number onto that doesn't sound appealing at all. The name itself already isn't the greatest name. I think both of you can back me up on that. It's like you said earlier, Aaron, it doesn't roll off the tongue. But I think a game where sort of a live service where it gets a yearly update will be something completely new. But I think it will be very welcomed by the community.
So just as a kind of follow-up there, how do you think they monetize this? Do you think it's going to be, because obviously it's EA, they're about their money. FIFA probably makes the most money of any game, I imagine.
GTA 5 maybe, but I agree with you, Scott.
Yeah. Well, year to year anyway. So obviously, if they go the one game platform, they're losing out on 70 quid every year, or not 70 quid alone, like countless 70 quids. So how do you think they make the difference? Do you think they go more aggressive with, because obviously you can't do like customization, you're not going to have the John Cena crossover or Rick and Morty and Goku showing up in FIFA. So what do you think they do to kind of make that money back if they do go the live service route?
Personally, I think it would just be a very expensive update each year. I think it will probably be the same price as buying a new game, except it won't be a new game with a new title. It would just be an update where you can get, every year you'll have every team gets a new kit, they'll get new players, there's new leagues. So I think it would just be a yearly update where you pretty much pay the full price of what you pay for a normal FIFA title, and it's the same game. I can't see them being too creative with it, or going down in price. And like you mentioned, the collaborations. This year was the first year we saw like a big collaboration with FIFA. FIFA collaborated with Marvel for Ultimate Team, which was very surprising. And I wouldn't be surprised to see stuff like that happen again in EA Sports FC. And the thing is with the partnership, with the separation, from FIFA, is that it was a bit of a blaming game. EA sort of said that the FIFA title held them back from being creative, whilst FIFA came out sort of, saying the same thing about EA. So it'll be really interesting to see who was at fault, because there's been so many demands from players towards EA each year that aren't listened to. So fans are hoping, me as well, that it was FIFA who were blocking out EA from being creative, and we can get a really, personal game which appeals to players this year. But like you said with the monetization, I think it will be a yearly release which costs a pretty penny. And I think they'll continue pushing, FIFA points in game, which have had a bit of controversy in the past because of how much they cost and how much everything is in the Ultimate Team is based on buying points. But I can see that continuing, maybe even being bigger than before. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we've got, obviously, gaming editor Nathan usually hosts this show, and he's a big FIFA player, similar to yourself, Lewis. He's popped up in the chat again with a very good question. What would happen to FIFA Ultimate Team if it went live service? The amount of cards they release, do you see these cards being on a transfer market for years after? Or, because as I understand at the moment, with every new annualized release, EA just wiped the slate clean, and every cent or dollar that you've invested in creating the FIFA Ultimate Team, you have to start from scratch. So by going live service, does EA risk making less money, or is there a way for them to work around that? What do you think?
Personally, I think it would just be the same as it is. They'll just wipe the slate clean again. It'll be sort of like a whole new game, but it's just a way to keep the title the same every single year. Because again, I think it's a naming issue. EA Sports FC 24. It just sounds so bad. So yeah, I can see them just, wiping the slate with Ultimate Team, starting from scratch again. If there was a way where they wouldn't do that, and there was a way for whatever you invest to stay invested over a long period of time rather than every year, if you've paid £200 in points over 1 year, then just losing all of it, that would be fantastic. But again, I think that will stop EA from making money in a way. They'll make big losses on that. If you put £200 into the game in August, and then next year in August that £200 still has value, that won't work. That won't work with EA. So I can see it being something similar to how it currently is.
We've got another YouTube comment from Adam L in the chat, who comes up with an idea of his own in terms of how cards are handled. Maybe leaning on the Hearthstone side of things. Maybe a card crafting system where you can scrap cards for 5% of the value or something, like in other card games like Marvel Snap and like Hearthstone games like that. Do you think that's something that EA would go for?
It's a really good idea, a really creative idea that I think a lot of fans would be on board with. But from my perspective, I can't see EA doing that. I feel like they make so much on current FIFA titles with the way it is. I feel like any sort of situation where anything gets wiped, anything doesn't get wiped, and they'll lose money. They'll lose money. I'd love to see something like that where cards don't just disappear. They can get recycled. They can somehow, it could be like an idea of when you get a card at the beginning of EA Sports FC, it starts at quite a lower rating, and each FIFA it can build up, but it's just how they go about that, the logistics. I don't know how that would work. But yeah, I still think it would be a wipe the slate clean sort of situation.
So Nathan's actually said something in the chat I want to bring up. He says, what ways do you think FIFA have been holding EA back, if that is the case? And then also, who do we think FIFA partners with next? Is it going to be 2K? Is it going to be someone else? 2K is going to be making like a Lego football game or something like that, I've heard.
I keep seeing 2K FIFA 24 floated around. Like, I don't know where that rumor started. I think people think it's a natural fit. But yeah, Lewis, what's your take?
Yeah, I think with who FIFA go with to publish their next game, as of now, unlike EA Sports, who have announced EA Sports FC, FIFA have said nothing. So it could be, I know, right? They haven't got a publisher the way it is. So I think 2K is a name that floats around because they have so many sports games the way it is. So that's something which we could potentially see in the future, which it would be interesting to see. Like I said earlier, if their game comes out and it's got cross-playing pro clubs, if they make a pro club similar mode, if all the requests that fans have been making over the last 5-6 years are all going to the first FIFA game, it will be clear that it was EA who was holding FIFA back rather than the other way around. I think when EA made the announcement they were making the split from FIFA, they ended up saying the FIFA name was holding them back. I'm not too sure how that is personally, because FIFA is one of the biggest companies in the world, but actually I'm sort of contradicting myself now by saying that, because that name, there's probably things they might have wanted to do in the game which are not as sensible that FIFA didn't want to be associated with. So I feel like when we got that collaboration with Marvel this year, it's not often you get personalized sort of card. It was like what the collaboration was pretty much an item in FIFA, a card in Ultimate Team. The players were in the style of a Marvel comic, which is something we'd never seen before, and it went down really well with the community. And I just feel like EA could really take it less sensible without the FIFA title now, because I feel like FIFA would have a big say over what happens because it's such a governing body, and that's the name you see on the box. You don't really see the EA Sports, you see FIFA. So I feel like they would have more of the say. So without that big name overlooking them now, it'll be interesting to see how creative they can get.